Hey guys, so let's start this video by talking about physical therapy job offers or position offers. I'm going to start out by saying you absolutely should never accept employment without a written position offer. There has to be something in writing. Now, even if it's not a contractual agreement, you need something that outlines all of the aspects that you can expect when accepting employment from any employer. Most large organizations like hospitals or other institutions, they are going to have a handbook that's probably thicker than an old school telephone book with all of this outlined for you. But for those of you that are looking at working with smaller employers, I am a small business owner. I own a physical therapy practice with 2 clinic locations. We don't have the administrative department, the HR department that a large hospital or university has. So most private practices are really owner operated and they're trying to do the best they can, but I want to share 2 position offers that you could start to use as a framework. I'll put a link to them in the description of this video. Simply go to Google, do a search for position offers before employment or anything along that line, job offer before employment, and you'll see a list of the criteria. I'm going to go ahead and read one of the main articles, and then I'll share some of the things that we put into a position offer at Total Therapy Solutions, my company, when we're extending the employment offer. So from a Google search, a couple things that they discuss. Obviously, there has to be a job title and a job description. The more descriptive, the better. What are the responsibilities? What are the expectations? Coming in as a licensed physical therapist, you want to know, do you have any direct reports? Is anybody, who's your supervisor? Who do you report to? And in an ideal situation, there would be an organizational board or an org board that outlines every single aspect of your employment and the expectation of satisfactory or exceptional performance for each of those positions. If the company has that, go ahead and ask for a copy of it. You want to get a list of important dates. When does the employment start? When do you start accumulating paid time off or payment toward other benefits? You want to know if you have vacation coverage, when you can utilize it. If you have something planned, you want to know if you can go ahead and work that into the contract. Important dates, a calendar, huge aspect of accepting any position offer. Obviously, there has to be a discussion about compensation, whether you're going to be salary or hourly, whether your benefits are included in that rate, whether your benefits are paid separately, how much of your paycheck is coming out of your pocket to go toward benefit reimbursement. You want to know the terms. Is this are you accumulating any kind of benefits over time? All of that needs to be in writing. You want to know the company policy and the company culture. We always try to share a little bit about our company culture because we want a great cultural fit. We don't want a therapist who thinks that the business is something it is not. So the better feel you can get for company culture, especially if it's in the position statement or offer, the better chances you're going to have for a positive experience. If you're working at an at-will employment state, you want to look for verbiage within the contract or the offer. It shouldn't be a contract, it should be an offer that discusses this. Sometimes there is verbiage that could negate the at-will status. This would be something you might want to take to an attorney if you have genuine concern about this. You want to look for a confidentiality agreement, both on your side as the employee or candidate and on the employer side, because neither of the 2 parties really should be open to discussing what was in the offer, what the outcome of the offer was, the negotiations. All of that should be kept confidential for really the privacy of both the candidate and the employer. And then, of course, any contingencies. If something has to happen, maybe you're a new grad, you haven't been licensed, and this is a contingent offer on getting your licensure, or this is a contingent offer on relocating to a specific state or working at a specific location. So those are some of the things to look into a position offer. I went back and I found a position offer that we had extended to a physical therapist assistant, and I'm just going to kind of go through some of the highlights. So looking at this, we had 9 points that we were discussing. We made it clear that this was not a contractual agreement, that this was more of a courtesy to help both parties understand expectations. So item number one, we came right out. This is a wage position for a W-2 employment status. We indicated the hourly rate that would be paid. We indicated that the position does not come with group health insurance, that we would pay a stipend, and we gave the amount of that stipend toward the new hire or the new candidate securing their own health insurance. We do not have group health insurance at my physical therapy clinic. We gave a timeline. Number two is a timeline. After 90 days of continuous employment, that is when the paid time off program would begin. We indicated that the individual would be accumulating paid time off from the first day of employment, but they wouldn't be eligible to access that paid time off until completing 90 days of continuous employment. We indicated the conversion factor, so for every 1 hour of work, they would receive 0.041 hours of paid time off, and it was on an accumulating basis. On number three, we talked about paid holidays. What are the paid holidays? How is the paid holiday accumulated by hour? What is the conversion factor? In number four, we talk about how many hours the employee is expected to work per week. The employee wasn't guaranteed 40 hours a week, but there was a range that they were guaranteed that we would pay regardless of whether we had enough patient visits to fill that time with clinical care. So we were guaranteeing a base number of hours. Number four also discusses Ceu reimbursement. So we were paying a certain dollar amount toward a certain number of Ceu credit hours within the certifying period, the 2-year period. We talked about number five was flexibility at working at either of our 2 locations. We own 2 clinical locations under the same company umbrella. Sometimes we ask staff to relocate from one location to another. The requirement was that this individual would be flexible and able to work different days at different times within the expected range at each of the different locations depending on patient census. Number 6, we talked about administrative aspects of the job, what was expected. We talked about TTS policy, so Total Therapy Solutions policy, where they could find the policy manual, the HIPAA compliance protocol that they would have to complete before starting employment, the background check, and other administrative things that needed to be done before they could start treating patients at our clinic. Number 7, we talked about formal performance reviews. I think this is an important one that wasn't addressed in the Google search. We talk about what to expect, how they can determine whether they've met or exceeded or were deficient in a specific department in the organizational board. We talked about how compensation would be calculated based on their performance, and if any raises would be extended or bonuses, what the structure of that was. We try to make that as absolutely objective and black and white as possible. We try to eliminate any of the subjective ratings so that it's very, very clear to understand how do you achieve advances in pay. Number 8, we talked about opportunities for growth. We talked about what we value as the owners of the business, the founders of the company. We discuss other people that have moved through the ranks and have advanced through the organization and what kind of opportunities lay in front of this potential individual based on this potential individual's particular interests. And then finally, number 9, we just basically said, hey, Total Therapy Solutions is a great place to work, to learn, to develop and test your skills as a clinician and a leader. Because ultimately we're looking for clinicians that are interested in leadership. We value determination, diligence, and perseverance. The most successful clinicians within our organization display a drive and a determination that makes them better, makes their patients better, and makes the people around them better on a daily basis. And I said, if we're in agreement and you choose to accept this offer, you will be working at this specific clinical location with these other specific clinicians. And that was it. Did a little sign off. This position was accepted by this particular individual. This is many years ago. But the idea is I want you guys, clinicians and employers of clinicians, to know that it should be standard practice to extend a position offer either formally or as a courtesy to help that individual make the decision on whether this is the place they want to work. So guys, if you want to read more about this, if you want to see samples and examples of other position offers, I'm going to post a link to my blog post down in the video description. Go check out learnmedicarebilling.com. And if you come up with other questions that you want me to address, let me know. Put them in the comments. I'll catch you on the next video.